So, recently I stumbled upon... I don't have time to read a lot of other people's fanfiction. This is why I don't do a lot of fanfiction reviews. But I did stumble upon a fanfiction that I did find interesting called The Green Tide of Remnant. It is a Warhammer Ruby crossover that, while it is Warhammer the Old World, it is pretty solid. It basically talks about an orc Waaagh led by Grimgor going to the world of Remnant and waging war on, and its effect of it. It's very cool. It's like, the idea of it is really solid. I really liked it, and I think the author is writing a sequel, or is in the process of writing the sequel right now. So, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And like I said, I don't get a lot of time. This is why I don't do a lot of fanfiction reviews, is because I don't have time to allocate reading fanfiction all that often. I really just do not have the time anymore to allocate that kind of time to do something like that and these days. So I did have time to like sit down and read that. It was pretty solid, but it did get me thinking. What if an orc Waaagh did show up to Remnant, and could Remnant fight him off? But we're not talking like Warhammer, fantasy orcs. We're talking orcs from 40k. So let's say if an orc Waaagh came down to Remnant ready for a fight, and for shits and giggles, we're gonna have it that this Waaagh is led by the Iron Orc himself, the Prophet of the Waaagh, Gazgor Mak Uruk Thraka. So, yeah, this is gonna be, what if Gazgathal and his Waaagh showed up at Remnant and was like, "Weezy's for proper crump," and henceforth, everyone collectively shits their pants. Yeah. So the first thing you have to understand, could Remnant hold their own in a siege against the orcs? Well, the first thing is, one of the big things that that Remnant has to do is get out of its own damn way. And by that I mean the whole thing of Remnant is constantly in its own way. Like, they can't even properly unite to fight Salem. Like, with Ironwood going out of his goddamn mind. You have Salem herself, Grim, other factions who don't want to work with other ones. Yeah, it's a shit show. It is an unrelenting shit show. And now you've thrown in a bunch of giant green douchebags who have Cockney accents and love to fight people, because now you're in for a real one. So the big thing, the first hurdle Remnant has to get over is now they have to allocate all of that time fighting the orcs. Like, that's the big thing right there, is that now you have to do battle with an orc Waaagh that has decimated entire systems, by the way, and has now come down, has basically gone down to, is like, "Yous guys, yous gits wants a good crumpin'." And to which, if anyone heard that, their first reaction would be, "Holy shit, this giant green man came down from space and he's ugly as hell." The other one is, "Do what?" And then get immediately killed. So, yeah. So the big thing that Remnant needs to do first, in order to, if any chance that Remnant has to fight off an orc Waaagh, the big thing that they have to do first and foremost is they have to be on the same plane. Like, Ironwood and everyone else from Beacon have to, like, be on the same kind of page. They may not have to like each other, but you gotta, you guys gotta nut up or shut up, or you're not gonna have a world anymore. And the orcs aren't gonna care. Like, the orcs are, the orcs are here, and the orcs are clear, and they're here, they want a fight. So you better give it one with all you got. So that's the thing, is that Atlas has to work together with the Huntresses have to work together with them. The big question is, would Salem and the Grim hook up in a united front to fight off the greenskin horde? Probably not, because Salem is not like that. Salem is not going to be like... If anything, Salem's going to be like, the orcs are literally doing what I always wanted. Like, they're just kind of exacerbating, or, they're making what I want more expedient. They basically are doing what I wanted to do for so long, a legit thing. Like, they are just literally, like, I just want to kill everyone and that's it. Like, I just don't want to exist anymore. The orcs are going to help in that regard, and if they want to fight, then, you know, by God, I'll give them a fight. So that's the other thing you have to really, like, take into account, is that Salem is going to be, is still going to be a threat, no matter what. It's a matter of if Atlas and the Huntresses can get together and be like, hey, can we just, like, work together nicely, please? Like, is there a way we can actually, like, work together and not be, you know, at each other's throats? Can we do that? Can we just not? Like, can we just work together? Now, the other thing is that, let's talk about, like, Ruby's Silver Eyes, because I know someone's going to bring up Ruby's Silver Eyes in this conversation. Do I think they would be any help against the orcs? No, that only affects the Grimm, so Ruby can't use her Silver Eyes in this battle. But the orcs are like, the other thing is, I think the hunter, like, I think how they would view huntresses and hunters, how I would imagine they would like view these beings, is something along the lines of how they would view their own weird boys, or like the Psychers in the Imperium, whereas just call them weirdy boy, like. And even, like, give them fun names like that. Day's got some weird boys like us. So, the orcs do have abilities that can, like, especially from the weird boys and tech boys, that can cancel out a lot of the semblances that they have. Could they stop them outright? No, because that wouldn't be fun. Like, especially if they ran into someone like Yang or Hazel. The big thing they would probably be like, they like to fight with their fists, so do we. I also think that they would also try to, like, take, like, if they killed any hunters and huntresses, they'd probably be scavenging a lot of, like, the weaponry for themselves. There'd be a lot of, like, scavenging, like, the guns and the tech, and kind of add it to their own. Could you just imagine, like, a Stompa or a Gargant, being used by the orcs that is harvested from Atlas technology? Yeah, no one would want that. The other thing is that I know, like, the other thing, another thing, and this is going to be solely on Remnant, is that Remnant's going to realize, oh my god, they're stupid. They're, like, really stupid. But how are they smart? Because, again, an orc's belief can let them do anything. Like, the orcs can just believe, if Yang punched an orc's head off, the other orcs would be like, oh, he ain't dead, and the orc's belief will just be like, you know, yeah, still going. Or, you know, they can just keep believing in something, and the orcs will just keep fighting. So, and they don't even realize it. So I think it would just be a great moment where, like, Team Ruby's, like, being plagued by orcs, and the whole time they're like, oh my god, they're idiots! This is what we were getting our ass kicked by? And here's the other thing. Let's say, like, Remnant can repel the orcs the first time. Here's the problem with that. You have two major problems in battling orcs. One, you drive them off. If you can kill, like, I don't know if they could kill Gaz. I imagine if the war went on too long, Gaz would just get bored and want to go, and Gork and Amork would tell him to go somewhere else. But the other thing you have to take into account, and I know I've been saying that phrase a lot, but there is a lot of stuff to take in. The other major aspect is that once you have orcs on your planet, you have no chance of getting... The only way to get rid of orcs fully is to burn the bodies, because even if the first time you defeat the orc Waaagh, like, even if you do defeat the orc Waaagh in, you know, and just drive the orcs off, like, either they get beaten or Gazgithal, like, just decides, deuces, I'm bored, or, like, I'm bored, everybody out. You still run into the issue of, yeah, the orcs are still there. Once their bodies decompose, it's like mushroom. They're literally mushrooms. You can't just get rid of them. They're gonna come back. And also, if the even if Remnant does succeed in defeating the orcs, Gaz is gonna be like, these guys are awesome, and then they're gonna tell more people, and an even bigger Waaagh is gonna come. And again, they'd have to do this, like, there would have to be, like, new, and again, you're fighting a war with the Grimm and Salem, and here come these big green motherfuckers who just want to punch you in the face and laugh about how cool it was. So, yeah, it would be a very difficult war, because now you're fighting a two-pronged war between Grimm and orcs, who are fighting both of you, who are fighting both Grimm and humans at the same time, but they don't fucking care. If anything, the orcs are gonna, like, come back in mass on the grounds of, they's got right, so they's got these things called Grimmy things, and they's real hard to crump, and he's fun too. And then they got these weird girls who got shiny eyes and shit. It's a good fight. So, yeah. Could Remnant fight off an orc Waaagh? Maybe. But you gotta also understand, even if they beat them the first time, they're gonna come back. And they're gonna pop out of the ground no matter what. So you're gonna be just fighting, the people of Remnant are just gonna be forced to keep fighting these fuckers, and they don't have the strength or wherewithal to be at war with them and war with the Grimm. So yeah. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. But you guys tell me in the comments below, do you think the world of Remnant could fight off an orc Waaagh? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.